Welcome to Willow Wren Training Boat Handling Tutorial Series. This series of videos is not a substitute for hands-on tuition, but will give you an introduction to the techniques used on a boat handling training course. In this video, we can look at springing off a mooring, winding or turning the boat, and then springing back on again. If you've watched one of our other videos showing springing off, and this will be familiar to you, we've taken the stern line round the bollard and then back to the stern dolly and done 2 or 3 wraps around that. My crew member is now holding that line, and with it tight we've selected reverse gear, and as you can see, the bow now is happily springing out toward port. We're just below a lock as it happens, and we know that nothing's coming, so we're safe enough to move out without too many looks behind us. If this was a windy day, pushing the boat back on, this is an extremely useful technique. Even on the windiest day, this will still work, and you can keep that bow coming out until it's far enough away from the side to leave a mooring. In this case, we're going to turn the boat completely around, so we're going to keep this springing going until we're happy that we're getting no more benefit from it. Need to be a little bit careful with the rudder position. If you go too far, there's a risk that the rudder could be damaged by the side, and it very much depends on the shape of the boat too. We've now released the stern line. My crew member is coiling that up. He can hang on to it because we're coming back to the same mooring, although ordinarily it's probably best practice to bring it back on board. Now into forward gear, just above tick over, and with the stern clear of the side, tiller across then to bring the boat round. I don't want to go too far forward, so before long I'm going to select reverse gear, and you can see the wash starting down each side. And at the same time, it's good practice to reverse the direction of the tiller too. If you've watched the video about reversing, you know that in reverse gear we point the tiller in the direction that we want the bow to go in. In other words, the opposite way around to normal steering. Don't want to reverse up too far, so neutral, pause for a second, and then into forward gear. And again, best practice is establish the flow across the rudder before you move the tiller across to bring it round. I don't want the bow to touch the offside. I'm not sure of the stability of it, and it's not good practice. Plenty of room behind, so I can stay in reverse gear that bit longer. And if you look, the bow is still turning, still moving over to the left, and therefore I'm still getting some benefit from that steering by having the tiller across this way. Need to bring the bow over to the left hand side, so I have selected forward gear again and move the tiller. But if you saw carefully there, I moved the tiller a bit too early. I didn't wait for the flow to establish across the rudder itself, and so what I did was bring the tiller back to the centre again and then moved it across once more. And you see me there moving the tiller to and fro. It's to get a better feel for the water going across the rudder, and therefore to give me better steering. As I get closer to the towpath side, I don't want the boat to be going very quickly, so I should be selecting neutral, pausing, and then selecting reverse gear to slow us down. You just see the wash coming out either side of the stern. Now I've got the bow where I want it to be. I need to bring the stern in, so back to forward gear again. Bring the tiller across, but again I don't want the boat going forward too quickly, so lots of reverse gear. And notice I've reversed the tiller as well, and this will help to draw the stern in to the side. I can reach out then for the centre line and pass that to my crew member. Fair exchange is no robbery, so he gives me my stern line back. My bow is still well out from the side. The crew member could just simply pull on the centre line, but in this case I'm going to get him to wrap the centre line around the bollard a couple of times so he's got a firm hold of it. And what I'm doing here is just reversing away from the crew member and the bollard, and because the centre line's tied off, you'll see that a lever effect then will pull the bow into the side. And there you have it, springing off a mooring, winding, and then coming back onto a mooring by a reverse spring.